Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk, a podcast where Amit and I talk about all things tech, about all kinds of topics, and its impact on our society. Today is a special episode. We have a guest here with us, Porush. Thank you for joining with us. Porush is the founder of a very popular website called Sportskeeda. It's a website that started as a blog, but then expanded into so much more, and everything about sports is covered on all kinds of sports in that website. And it has gained popularity over many years now, and it is a proper established and well-known website for the fans. And Porush has had the initial idea to found it, and then also had the journey to bring it from beginning to an established website. Thank you for Parash again for joining us today to talk to us. We are actually quite excited to understand your journey and all the challenges that you faced, etc., etc. So I'll let you introduce yourself, Parash, to the audience.
Thanks, Rinat. Thanks for the great introduction. Uh, so, I was an ordinary bloke who was really, what do you say, aspirational. My father has always been a businessman, and I always wanted to be doing some business. When I was doing my MBA in 2008-10 during in Bangalore, and I think that was the prime time of startups. Like the whole startup culture was kind of coming along in Bangalore, and I was, aspirational enough to go out and meet a lot of entrepreneurs in Bangalore. Did some internships, and I was like really inspired. I wanted to do something, and then I didn't want to go for a job. So I had created like a worst case scenario for me. Like I have an Infosys 2 years, I have an MBA. If I just give 2 years to my startup, what maximum bad can go. So I just created, I said, I have 2 years for myself. Let me see if I can do something. And it was, a very emotional decision, you can say. It's not that, I really knew that a sports website will become a 1,000 crore business that it is right now, as in the run rate AR is around 120 CR, valuation is around 1,000 crore for now. Uh, it was more that what can I do that time, and what's space that's not been occupied already. Uh, so during 2009, when I started Sportskeeda, uh, we had like a lot of India has always been a cricket nation, and it still is, no denying that. But there was literally no space for other sports. Even like I had seen leading websites during that time had a cricket tab. They never had an all sports tab. And I said, no, someone, yeah, India is huge, and India always, follows the West. It used to be like 5 to 10 years behind the West that time. I don't say that anymore. I don't think we are. But I took a punt that India will become a multi-sport nation soon, and there has to be someone doing a multi-sport website for India. I'm so sorry, I just mute my phone. uh, that someone has to be doing the all multi-sport website for India. Someone has to create the biggest sports site in India. And in 2009 there was no one trying to do that. There were a few attempts, but not, I think, something that can really become huge. So I kind of said, okay, this is what I have going to do. I know the initial steps because I used to create websites for people on the time, like just to learn stuff, make some money also. And I said, okay, WordPress is a great tool. So I'm coming to the tech now because if you don't hold me, I'll just go to the entrepreneurial and the business part
No, no,
because
no, that's fine. That's
yeah,
fine,
sure,
Paresh.
sure. Right.
No problem.
So I know WordPress. I used to be a bit of I'm not a computer science graduate, but I know PHP, C++. I used to be able to hack few things here and there. So I was able to create a WordPress, show it as like a website, get a lot of bloggers in. Uh, and I had no money. I had only a lot of aspirations and passion that time. But what was we were able to do is create a pool of like 200 writers who were like just writing for fun. and that was done in like 3 to 5 months. The speed of execution was pretty good. And so the whole tech earlier was about WordPress plugins, hacking some WordPress plugins, PHP, and hacking the front end so that it doesn't look like a blog, but looks like a website with a lot of authors, established media brand. You fake it till make it. That that's how it was. Uh, I'll give you a few anecdotes. I used to have like 20 email IDs and all were pointing to my ID. So I did all that, right? So people used to feel that they have a hockey department, they have a tennis department, they have this, and it was all Porush Jain running it at the end from behind. But it was fun days, as in I used to really change the design a lot on the homepage, create new plugins, new interactive features, whatever I can do with PHP, WordPress, and plugins, and a lot of free stuff is there. Thanks to Matt, who's the founder of WordPress. I think I really owe him a big one, because without WordPress, I don't think there would have been a Sportskeeda. So yeah, I think that was the starting, and then a huge journey came in, as in when I got investors, I got angel investors, then we got a VC investor in Sportskeeda. Then a lot of corporate-ish culture came into the company, which took me some time to really understand what is an HR. Everyone knows an HR, but really running an HR, hiring people, it's a nightmare. So on the other side of the table, it is always a nightmare. So yeah, I've been through a lot of learnings. I've been there. uh, it'll be great if you can, we can have a transition because it's a long.
No,
Yes,
I can speak
absolutely.
for 10 hours right now. Direct one
No, no,
year,
no.
1 hour for every year, then I can speak.
No, so you got the idea, you started it, and then you thought about, okay, pulling in all the writers, and then using WordPress. So WordPress, I think Rinat also uses WordPress for his own website. I know a lot of people who use WordPress. WordPress is a great technology. It's completely open source, and people can build a lot of websites on that. So then you started the blog. What about hosting, and what about the other challenges where that it comes? And I mean, you decided to set up something like a blog. So you need constant articles. So did you have a schedule in mind? How frequently were you publishing? And because the thing is, attention and latest updates are big things, right? So if you don't get regular updates, people start losing interest. So you even if you have 200 pool of writers, you need to constantly get those articles in and and chase people to get those articles out. Plus you're focusing on multiple sports, so that means I'm guessing football is a big thing because people follow English Premier League, Champions League. Formula One is huge. I know when we were in college, we used to follow Formula One quite a lot. And then there are other Indian sports like hockey, kabaddi, badminton, tennis, because of other sports people. So how were you trying to get hold of all these sports and all these authors, and then trying to publish articles on a regular basis? Because that must be a challenge as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. So see, earlier for the first 2 3 years, we always had like a minimum quality standard that we only want to invite really great, good bloggers who have something to contribute. People really want to read them. Apart from that, we were really, really open. So if someone wants to write on any random sport which has an audience, we were like open arms for them. And someone used to mail me that there is no category for frisbee. I say, okay, don't worry, give me 10 minutes. We are open for an article on frisbee. So earlier it was for the first 2 years it was really not a focused approach. The focus was that we are the largest Indian sports website. We are promoting sports in India. That also we kind of changed after 2 years. And anything with good quality English, with good information, with some insights which is not available on any blog, we were happy to get them. And we were just focusing on how many active writers can we have. And once we have even an article on game of a frisbee, the next thing for us was to deliver reads for them. Because why will that writer write again if he's not getting? Because we always had like a read count on each article, and our promise to them was, if you are getting like 100 reads on your blog, you will get 1,000 here on Sportskeeda, because it's a site with a lot of popularity, good SEO and everything. So yeah, first 2 years, I'll admit there was no focus. But then once we got the VC funding, it was exactly 2 years, as in 2011 November is something where we got the funding, and then we kind of sat down as it is. We cannot just be open to everything, and we need to really focus on few sports which will become like businesses for us and will become popular and will create destination, and a lot of users will come there. So we kind of chose football, wrestling, and I'll tell you why wrestling. Uh, then football, wrestling, cricket. Obviously, if you are in India, all Indian sports was created in one bucket because the kind of popularity were less. As in if you look at audience sports, Indian athletics still are like it has its polls during every Olympic or an Asian game, but then generally people are not really searching for athletics. So yeah, we focused on the games. Like we were really big on football earlier. So once we got funding, then we had like separate teams for the specific sport that we really were focusing on. I
Okay.
hope I've answered you.
Right. Okay. I mean, to be honest, I grew up in South Asia, in Bangladesh, and cricket has always been in that part of the world. Cricket is like a religion. I mean, everyone is so crazy about it. I remember when I was growing up, there was one website I used to follow, is Crick Info. Um, how is that? Is Sportskeeda similar to that kind of website, and is that a competitor of yours, or is
Yes,
it?
yes, definitely we are competing with Cricinfo. With all due respect to Cricinfo, as in, our cricket department obviously,
Mhm.
it's a competition to them. Our sales team is always in competition with them, like when we getting advertising orders. Uh, so yeah, so I think Cricinfo and CricBuzz, if you
Okay.
so Cricinfo started, like hats off to Cricinfo. They started kind of scoring cricket on internet when even before the browsers.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they have huge history, uh, and they like right now the positioning of Cricinfo is kind of like it's very desktop oriented.
Mm.
CricBuzz has really cracked the mobile game, and
Right.
Sportskeeda kind of focuses on the the new generation. We have we had a Hindi commentary way back, a Hindi section way back, more energetic social media kind of commentary we do. So that's like the I think you can say the different positioning. Crickbuzz is
Right.
very mobile centric. Cricinfo, very kind of elitist kind of and desktop. With the
Mhm.
focus on really great. They have really great writers. I'll admit, and Sportskeeda is more social, more what do you say, the massy kind of tone to it.
So this is interesting, Porush. I mean, you started the journey and you have all these competitors now, and you had a blogging idea. Now I'm thinking, how do you monetize a blog? Like you got VC funding after 2 years, and just based on okay, there are good authors, they are writing some good articles, and there is a lot of viewership. But then, how do you make money from it? Because I mean, Facebook is trying to do the same thing with Facebook posts, Instagram, Twitter. People are there,
So,
and but they have to
so
figure out a way to make money
yeah,
from
so
it,
see,
right?
I mean, when you do a blog and you get like 10,000 visits a month, frankly, it won't make you much money unless
Exactly.
it's a very, very
Exactly.
niche subject and you have an
Yes.
affiliate network.
Yes.
It won't make you money. But right now, Sportskeeda get 80 million users a month,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, and they visit the site multiple times. So when you have that, right, and you are able to become the largest or one of the largest sports site in any specific geo, then you can have a sales team. You can go out, talk to the advertisers. Obviously, when you talk about sports side, then Nike, Adidas will come to your mind directly. So we have gone there. We have got a lot of business from them. Then even your how do you monetize an blog? Directly in AdSense comes to the mind. You just plug
Yes.
in
Google
AdSense
AdSense.
ads,
Yes.
right? So that's the level one of monetization, and that's automatic. Like it's called programmatic monetization, where you are not selling the ads. Google is selling the ads, but they are giving you a proportion of the revenue because the ad was displayed on your site, on your blog, right? So that is level one of monetization. When you start getting a lot of traffic on your website, a lot of audience on the website, Then you start moving up. You start having your own ad server. Then you start selling programmatic and direct. Then in programmatic, apart from only Google, there are different other ad networks or RTBs. Many terminologies are there. I'll not get into ad tech right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But then there's a whole ad stack that comes into place. So when right now when you open Sportskeeda, an ad is displayed, so there is real time bidding on 20 different bidders, like Google, PubMatic, Iron Source, so many other different bidders are there, and they have right cookies, right? So they know that okay, this hit came from someone who likes this and this. It came from UK and everything, and there'll be 20 different bidders bidding for that space, and the highest bidder will get that, will display the ad, and we'll bill him, right? So real-time bidding is a huge ad technology. A lot of other, every other, any ad run media site runs on that, and it's not bad business. Last year we did 120 crores. Sportskeeda on an annual ARR is 120 CR. 97, 98% of it is advertising based.
Okay. Okay, so you're like Google, so they give everything out for free, but most of their revenue comes from ad. I mean, not
Yes.
as big as Google, but I'm just talking about the
Ha,
revenue side,
exactly.
from the revenue side.
The
Uh,
model.
yeah, yeah, the model. So another question I wanted to ask is like initially you started with a desktop website. So over a period of time, you would have seen that a lot of youngsters are now like even in college we started getting phones. iPhone was launched in 2007. So and your site was launched in 2009, 2011. You got
Yeah,
funding.
I saw the transition. It was very fast because
Yeah.
when I launched the site in 2009, I remember there was a time when 70 to 80% traction was from desktop to this time where 85 to 90% is mobile.
Yes.
So I've seen the
Exactly.
whole transition very fast.
So, and when did you take the decision like, okay, you should now shift to mobile? And I think that's where our
Actually,
audiences come up.
I'll admit I was late. Crick Buzz was really, they knew the trend and they knew, so the first best, I think, cricket app on the Play Store, when I think Play Store launched in 2006 and 2007, I think the best cricket app was Crick Buzz, and they've still been there. That in 2030, 2023, it's still the best cricket app. So, and that's why they've captured the market. Sportskeeda, we launched our mobile app. Our website became mobile friendly by 2012, 13, I think, or before that itself. It was always mobile friendly, but really, really mobile friendly by 2012. And 2014, we launched our app, but we were late. If it's kind of, I think the cricket market is like the leader kind of takes the biggest pie very easily.
But I think being a news site, does app have a value? Like I read BBC here in the UK, and
Yes, yes, you are right. News, if any only a news site wants to make their app popular, it's very difficult.
very
Few
difficult.
aggregators have been popular on mobile app. Aggregators still work, but for a sporting site, it's about the scores. So for a cricket score, people do have an app.
Yeah, I think mobile apps are good for like trying to get an information very quickly. I mean, if
Yeah,
you want to get the same information, you have to go sit on the desktop and go to a
exactly.
particular website, Google it. But on my app, and I think I also started using the mobile banking app a lot more when I just needed to see my balance, maybe,
Correct.
and a lot of the times the actual banking operation was not the important part, but it's just fingerprint and 1 second I'm inside. And that kind of benefit, I think, is something that anyone needs to look into when they're trying to convert in from desktop to app. So obviously this the journey only started from 2009 to 2011, and then but then there is long way to go. You started getting the VC funding, and everything started expanding. Everything started from one person to sort of become scale up really quickly. And There are two aspects of it. One is from the business side. How did you manage the expansion from, of hiring people, of maybe taking an office and all of that? And also from the tech point of view, rather than having just one WordPress with one admin login, you had to then give out admin.
Yeah. So yeah, I think as we became popular, and I think the biggest spike came from Facebook in 2012. So our strategy of creating different Facebook pages for different sports, kind of really, really worked. And I can actually say, we were one of the first media companies to really leverage Facebook, and then everyone just caught on. So we had a huge spike in 2012 specifically, and our front end started breaking because WordPress, when it loads a page, it starts loading a lot of plugins, and it's not what do you say? It's not made for millions of hits. So the first thing what we did in 2012, we created a tech team. I think the CTO Veer, he was a friend of mine. He used to really help me out here and there, but once he got funding, I got him as a full-time CTO. And the first thing he did was he removed the access from my myself, because I used to also change the code sometimes here and there, and I was sloppy, obviously, right? So first thing he did on the first day of his office is he removed my access, and then he transitioned to an AWS server. Then the first thing that we did was to change the front end to a custom layer. So the back end, the CMS was still WordPress for the 2012-13, I think, and the whole front end was our own custom layer, which was like a CDN packed, high page speed, very minimum operations, minimum calls to the DB, and it was lightning fast. And I used to remember, that really helped us in SEO also. So that was the first step. So we have transitioned in these 13 years, right, from starting on WordPress to a custom media CMS, the back end, front end, and a lot of other applications that we have built. So we actually were also thinking 2 years back that we can get into another business of leasing our CMS to other media sites. But then we thought, it's a very sporty, it's very custom made CMS for sports sites, and we'll end up, creating our own competition. So we didn't want to really do that. So we kind of focused on the media business. But right now, Sportskeeda is one of the few media companies, I'll say, I think not more than 5% big media houses like Sportskeeda have their own custom CMS, a huge tech team. So tech has really, really helped Sportskeeda, achieve what it has achieved. So first was obviously the front end, and then we saw that there were a lot of bottlenecks because we were a multi-authored site. I think by 2013 we were publishing around 200 articles a day, and we already had I think 100 different writers logged in, 30 different editors logged in, and WordPress does support multi-author, but then it was sloppy that time, and we really wanted something very fast and efficient. We really wanted to bake in SEO, so we started working on the backend itself, and the whole CMS kind of one by one, like one screen by one screen, we started changing the whole backend itself. So it took I think at least 4-5 years for us to completely replace everything from WordPress, and by 2014 or 15 we were all custom code.
All right. Wow, that's quite interesting because yeah, I've used WordPress to build. I mean, obviously, I don't have anywhere near the footfall that you have, but I've never kind of thought about that how you would go to a corporate structure from an IT standpoint, or from just a WordPress situation, because I thought WordPress was really good. I mean, it has everything that I need.
Yeah, I think I'll say that Rome was not built in a day, so you can't, and that's how we did it. As in, over the 5 years, plugin by plugin, we kind of changed and moved out of WordPress. I think few of our DB files still the name will be WP underscore something.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I wanted to ask Porush, I mean, you change the tech stack, but I mean, as you progress in sports, there are these spike moments, like when there is a World Cup, when there is say Olympics. So there is a spike where a lot of traffic is suddenly coming to your website. So how do you test those situations? Because the reason I'm asking this question is because in my company we face this during Black Friday events. So ours is the
Yeah.
e-commerce
No, so
website.
I'll be
Yeah.
frank. We Sportskeeda used to break down.
Okay.
In 2000, I think the last breakdown we had was 2016 Olympics when uh, we have won a bronze medal or a
I
gold
think Rio
medal
Olympics,
in
right? Yeah.
Rio Olympics. We won a gold medal, right, in badminton.
I can't remember. I know it
I
was in
was,
Rio. Yeah.
yeah, I'm so sorry that I forgot that. But yeah, 2016 Olympics was the last time we kind of crashed. And I think still till then, our tech really became smart that we are able to really dynamically add a lot of servers. All the code is really airtight that we are able to manage a lot of spikes. So I don't have the right number, but we have managed at least I think 500K concurrent users on our cricket scores. 500,000 concurrent users on cricket scores, and cricket scores are like time, like tuck updated like every second or even before a second. So doing that for 500,000 users takes a quite of a toll. But then we were able to do that. So yeah, our tech has really advanced in that. So you will have to scale your tech, really believe in your coders, give them time, and if you have a crack tech team, they will obviously deliver it.
So
I think
yeah, go ahead.
this is actually a very important part to look at. I think any startup business at that time and even now, when it comes to the initial success and they want to scale up, you really have to think about getting help from technology. You really have to know what the
Yeah.
latest tech is and how to utilize it best. And that's what really helps you to sort of scale up your business to a
I think
level that you
it
can.
it needs a lot of leadership skill also, because see, in the end, techies are humans, right? So we have a really great tech team. I remember, I'll give you a few stories actually. So Sankalp, who is the current CTO, he was a good friend of mine. He used to make he made few things for me, and I was after him leave TCS and join some startup. Make some good money, make a history. So I was able to convince him to join us in I think 2015. And the first day he joined, he didn't join as a CTO, he joined as a senior developer, but he soon became the CTO, I think 2, 3 years later. And the first day he joined, the site crashed. And he was like the senior most developer that time, startup, small tech teams. So I said, and then he was like, he just tried to, revive a website from a black hole. Where's the server? What's the code? What do you know on the first day? But he was able to do that. So I think, yeah, it was 15, 16, there were a lot of time where we used to go down. And I remember the only thing I was able to do is, go to Sankalp's house at midnight, because site has crashed at midnight. And I'll order a pizza for him and say, that's the best I can do. And now I'm watching you revive the site.
Wow, that is a interesting story. On the very first day, I mean, I've started in many jobs, and the first day you have no idea. You don't even know, where your email login is, I think. But yeah, to
If you want to really build good employees, no, just throw them in the fire.
It's like swimming, right? If you want to learn swimming, just throw yourself in the water. Anyways, Porush, one of the things that you mentioned is that you moved to AWS. Now, AWS is very popular. A lot of companies, they host their solutions on AWS. But a lot of times what the people fail to understand is that maintaining AWS takes a lot of time and effort, but the cost also scales up. So as you scale up the servers, as you scale up the tech stack and everything, because of your load that you're expecting, your cost also starts spiking up. So you said that you've optimized the websites after 2016. Your website didn't crash, but then what happened to the cost? Like, how were you able to control the cost side of things? Because then the cost might be also shooting up as the technology is
Yeah.
scaling.
So what I've seen over the last 12, 13 years, right, it's been very constant that as our traction increases, right? Our efficiency of monetization also increases, and the server cost also increases. But whatever I've seen ever is like mostly the server cost is like 1 to 2% of our total revenue of the company.
Okay, that makes
It
sense.
maybe at max, when it starts hitting 3%, I used to call the tech team as in this is not done. So I used to calculate as a percentage of the total revenue of the company, and if it's in a percent 2% range, I don't think so. I think right now Sportskeeda, it's a 20 lakh or what do you say, a 1 to 2 crore server bill every year. And I told you, right, 120 CR is what we make. So
Okay.
it's still in that range. So it never used to hurt me as such.
Okay, interesting.
And there were spikes in between and some wrong configuration, and 1 month, like the average billing is 5 lakhs, but 1 month it came 15 lakhs, and then the whole tech team would have been called up and what the hell. Explain.
So another thing is that you were the founder and you were the CEO for a very long time. You were running the company, so you had to get the money in to run the business, but you also had to decide the strategy where the product is heading towards. So like, were there any points of time where you thought that okay, this may not work and we will not break even, or we have to shut down the company? And then if that didn't happen, then what are the like product strategies that you
No,
took?
sir. Circumstances always used to tell me like this is not working and maybe the company won't work. I never said that from my heart. From my side, I will not let this go down. So
Company
there were
fail.
at least three, four. Yeah, I'll not let this company fail. So there were at least 3, 4 instances when the situations were very tough. Uh, but yeah, so from myself, I said I'll be there till someone just throws me out from the
Throws you
office.
out. But
So
then,
yeah, I think go ahead.
the product strategy, like okay, you started at the blog site. Now there are a lot of
So
sports
So
people,
yeah,
so
yeah. So
authors.
I'll be frank. I always focused more on the tech and product more than that I should have done. Uh, I'm not saying that I've not done a lot of focus on content, but the first instance when this situation came where things looked very sad, 2013, I guess, November. Uh, during my marriage time actually. So, what we were trying to do, we were just focusing on a lot of tech product design, and we thought that is something which is going to bring in a lot of audience. But uh, frankly, our content strategy was out of place. And I understood that now there's no money. We had like only a 3 month runway. So what I did is actually just cut myself off from tech, and I said that let me get the sales strategy and content strategy right, uh, and also bring down the expenses. So in like we had a runway of like we were like burning 15 lakhs a month, and we had like 50 lakhs in the bank. So 3 months, right? So we kind of brought the cost down, increased the revenue. The burn rate became 5 lakh. After 4 months, we saw we became actually profitable. So it's right. You will have to focus on the right uh, domains at the right time. So content strategy was a huge focus for me then on, and uh, from 2013, 14, 15, we kind of grew 100% year on year, and that was a great time for us. And it was largely on the content strategy backed by the tech. So if you have to build a media company, right, it has to be content backed by tech. And I was kind of doing it the other way around before 2013. Tech backed by content, that doesn't work. As in, tech first cannot work in a media company.
Nice, nice. I mean, obviously, you've left the company now, but I wonder for a company which started largely on written content. I wonder what the landscape would be now that we have AI solutions which writes various contents a lot more quicker than humans. What should be? I mean, say for example, if you were to start another company now. How would you take into account this, the technology that we currently have available to everyone in terms of content generation?
That's a pretty good question. I don't think I have the answer really. I know for fact that we spend a lot of money on editing at Sportskeeda. I know for a fact that that can brought to be near zero. Uh, Editing can be really AI assisted. Google has categorically said that they will not allow publishers to publish AI generated content. And I have been a bit out of touch, and I don't know how good Google is right now in detecting AI content because there are a lot of media companies creating AI content, right? And I'm sure a lot of Sportskeeda writers must be, in the back end using AI to improve their content,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
right? So it is very murky waters right now, I think, for the whole publishing industry, because controlling AI tools is difficult. I don't think Google can understand which are. It's my personal opinion. I don't think Google can understand which content is AI written or which is not. Obviously, I don't see a companies, like there might be specific cases, but not all media companies can just go AI content written because you will need human supervision. AI is not updated on a every second basis on real time updates what's
Mm-hmm.
happening, right? AI is not crunching. Maybe they are, but I don't think AI is crunching press conferences and understanding what's happening with Messi on a real time basis or what will happen to them. So I don't. I think it's still far, but
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna the landscape's gonna change like anything in the next 5 years for media companies. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Sportskeeda is
Right.
actually also already working a lot on AI right now to really improve their
Yes.
processes.
This is certainly an interesting take because I actually totally agree with you. I don't think Google at the moment can 100% detect with like absolute certainty that this is AI and this is not AI. And also, I also side with AI to use it as a tool. It's not a bad thing to get help from AI and then improving your own content after once you had it edited for grammatical mistakes or spelling mistakes or just overall editing. But then, as long as you have your original content and original ideas about writing about this particular topic, which is niche and something, maybe a problem the writer has faced in their own lives, and that's an original idea, and then you use AI as a tool to make it better, make it more
Yeah,
pleasurable.
and one main point I think is a media company as large as Sportskeeda cannot go wrong.
Mhm.
It's a huge sin at Sportskeeda if we have written if we've gone wrong in some information that we have published, because on an average article on Sportskeeda get like 15-20,000 reads. So this is an average. There are articles with
Mhm.
millions of reads. And Sportskeeda, if we start airing, right, then how are we different from any other company? And
Yes.
what I've seen is that AI does make a lot of mistakes right now. It just
Hallucinations.
approximate, just yeah, it just says something which
Yeah.
doesn't have any background at all. So, and that is the biggest deterrent, I think, right now,
Mhm.
that any writer can just copy from an AI generated article because
It's
he'll just lose his job tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just not viable to just completely do a copy paste. And also, people a lot of the times don't always understand that this is a generative algorithm. So it doesn't understand what it's writing. It's just, taking patterns from millions and millions of articles and then spitting out something that a combination of everything. But it's not understanding the current situation or the context and what should be in there. And
it,
I've
it has no skin in the game.
Yes,
It's just an
exactly.
algo.
So
Yeah.
yeah, there is many limitations, and I think those are where humans can shine. And again, the question that we've been asking for many years now, how, and you're probably a really good person to ask. Did AI take away any jobs or automation take away any jobs as you were scaling up? And I think you had to probably hire different skilled people then
So I'll say AI, not really AI. but we always, I'll admit it now, as I used to really look at what I can automate tomorrow to, reduce the headcount.
Headcount.
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
Did you ever get the headcount low? That's the question. You didn't.
Many times.
Many times. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's still actually Sportskeeda. I think I don't know the exact headcount, but when I left, it was 120. I think it's still at that number. We are pretty good, as in the revenue, the per capita income, per employee income. It's pretty good for us. So we are a very lean team actually.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Yes. No, but what I want to still look at the other side is, as you have reduced your workload or automated a lot of stuff, and you didn't need that particular skill anymore, but you have expanded as a company from 1% to 10% to 120. So overall, newer skilled jobs were in fact created. That's why you have a bigger team than a 10% team, right? With the help of tech.
Definitely. So see, for us, there's a huge engineering team we have. We have, I think, 20 people in engineering and product. Then a lot of our content. See, for Sportskeeda, each sport is a business. So there's a football business head, there's a cricket business head, there's a wrestling business head. And now we also do a lot of video content on Snapchat, on YouTube, everywhere, right? So they're video teams. And so how we have created is that most of the people in content are managers, as in they have the P&L responsibility. So the cricket business head has the P&L responsibility for cricket. Then he'll have a cricket scores business head, a cricket content business head, a cricket video business head. And those cricket video business heads will also have producers and they basically engage a lot of content writers or content creators. And make sure that operations are done. So we don't hire a lot of writers or content creators on roles, but then I think we have at least 1,000 people on a monthly basis on a contract on Sportskeeda. So they are not full time, but they're on a contract.
So they'll write
content
for
creators.
Sportskeeda. Okay.
Exactly, write or create content or edit.
So, I mean, is it similar to like a business trying to promote something? Say I'm Nike, I want to promote my new shoe. I'll hire content creators and I'll ask them to post on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Is it something similar, or is it how's this?
I'll not say similar. It's not similar that way, because what you're talking about is marketing.
Yeah.
You're marketing something, right?
Marketing something, but using content to market, using influencers. Yes.
Yeah. For Sportskeeda, we are not marketing anything. What we are doing is we're creating the best content at that moment. Like, let's say Ashes is going on.
Yes.
Right. So we are creating the best cricket scorecards, best blogs, best opinion pieces, fastest news. And we are competing with other media companies that instead of consuming the content there, they can consume it here. So can be the best, fastest, and the best. So we are not. You can say we can marketing content, but we are not selling anything. So it's very different.
Very different. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So another thing is that you started at the blog side. Now you are more of a news side, and there are so many other platforms. So you're fighting for eyeballs. Like, people should come to your website to read this particular event about, say, Tour de France, Formula One, recently the British Grand Prix, Wimbledon is happening. So they should come to your website. So how do you differentiate it? Is it just the writing that's helping you, or is it some other things? Because I've followed Sportskeeda's journey, and I've seen that you have also interviewed sports people. You have sponsored events, and you have interviewed etc.
Yeah. So you can understand it like this way. A media company can get more eyeballs either through distribution or through destination. So distribution, I'll get to the destination bit. Distribution is when your article ranks on top in Google, right? Or your social media articles are going viral, or you are integrated with OEMs on the -1 screen, right? So that's distribution, where if your SEO is better, your social media technology or skills are better, or your relations with OEMs are better, helps you get the traction. The content quality is the second step there, right? Or content quality obviously needs to be great. Then only you will do well on Google,
Yeah.
social media, or with you will have partnerships with OEMs. So that is a distribution bit, and I think Sportskeeda did really well there. Second is the destination bit, where you are marketing yourself as the destination for sports content, and users are searching your name and coming for Sportskeeda article, right? So we were able to do both very well. Distribution really well. Destination, I think, not as great as a ClickBuzz or a ClickInfo, but we have our own pocket. So during the Olympics, our traction will be far higher than a ClickBuzz or a ClickInfo, because we did a great job in marketing that the best coverage of Olympics is on Sportskeeda. So the user can be on Google or a Facebook or anywhere, but he's actually searching for Sportskeeda content to come, and so that becomes a destination play, right? So I hope I'm able to.
Yeah. That makes a lot
Yeah,
of
no,
sense.
that's very interesting way of looking at it. It's two-way. One is you're reaching out, and one is they're reaching out to your content. So, in terms of marketing, I mean, when you have become such a big user base or big sort of how does it change from marketing? So as you said, the distribution bit was probably the first thing to do, like when people didn't know about Sportskeeda and you had to distribute your content everywhere. So now I think it's more powerful destination side, because everyone knows, and you have a repeat visitors, etc. So how did you change your marketing strategy based on this change? Because now you don't have to market for the people to know about the website, but
so Rinat, we are an expanding business, right? And there are pockets of Sportskeeda content which are now a destination, and we don't need to market them. But there are a lot of pockets of Sportskeeda content which are newer, and we are looking at distribution. So we started our NFL, our NBA content few years back only.
Right.
So for them, we need to do all the marketing that we can.
Of course, yeah. So those ones where you're sort of new in the game, of course, that needs marketing. But to give an example, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, everyone knows about them. They don't need to do marketing, but they still do. Why is it that you think that you don't need to do marketing even on the established one? Because
no, I was trying to simplify it. We definitely need to do marketing for every. We can't because if you what do you say, became less active, world is competitive enough, and they will someone eat your pie.
Yeah, slowly people will forget. It's an amnesia. You forget about it very quickly.
So you have to innovate the product. You make sure that the audiences that came last time stick to you, and you also make sure that you come up with new ways in getting new audiences to consume your content and experience your content, or maybe new features. That's why I give you an example, right? We introduced Hindi, then we actually also tried with Tamil in between. So you always need to do an experiment. And for me, when it's an old, what do you say, saying that, try, basically fail fast, fail cheap, fail fast. So try a lot of stuff. If you fail, don't worry. And that's what we used to do.
Yeah, you learn something in the process, so it's good.
Exactly.
So, Porush, I mean, with your journey as a sports website in India, did you ever have the ambition of reaching out in other geographies, like outside India?
So yeah, actually, I forgot to tell you about that. So, and that was a wrestling story I told you, right?
Okay.
So what happened, I think in 2012 or 13, as I told you, we were always inviting. Someone wanted to write about wrestling, and we said, why not? Let's write about WWE. And next day we saw that our revenue kind of jumped 20%. And there was one article which contributed 20-30% revenue. And we saw, okay, the wrestling article got a lot of traffic from US. And the revenue per ad impression is 20 to 30 times higher than what we are seeing in India.
Yes.
right? Because see, the ad revenue rates that you get is based on the per capita income of the country.
Yes, I know. YouTube has the same algorithm. So if you have more
Exactly.
eyeballs from India, you'll get less money. But if you have
Right.
more eyeballs from US, you'll get more money.
Yeah. So the next day, I just called that writer. I said, "Hi, how are you? Can we have more articles?" And then we
Nice.
started focusing on wrestling. And we actually are the best wrestling content site from at least 7 8 years. So an Indian company is actually is the best wrestling content website in US, and
Interesting.
Wow,
it's
it's
a huge pillar, and it's a huge pillar for our revenue. So actually, currently, though 70% traction is Indian, our revenue is 70% from US.
wow, that is very interesting how one small factor can make such a big difference in terms of algorithm and stuff like that. So would you know, I mean, I think obviously, the with the wrestling article, that was one event that really pushed you towards it. But now are you looking at what other events which are popular in Western countries and where there is a
Yeah,
gap?
yeah. So see, we kind of really polished our playbook of how to create a business unit, a content business unit, and largely on the wrestling content side. So it's something which is doing really, really well. A team of three, I think, makes like 30% of Sportskeeda revenue, as in that content business. Not 30%. I think it's not 30% now, but earlier it was. So we replicated that whole playbook, and we started, as I said, NFL, NBA, MLB. So Sportskeeda has all those teams. We want to replicate our success in wrestling in other sports in in US.
Okay.
Nice, nice.
Okay. And Porish, another thing is that I mean, as you were progressing through your journey, you have all these I mean events that you're sponsoring, and you're also active on social media channels, etc. So, what was your social media strategy? Because you're publishing the content on your main website, sportskeeda.com. Then you are trying to publish that same content and trying to advertise it through Facebook, through Instagram, through YouTube maybe. So, and I did see that you did a YouTube podcast series as well, interviewing a lot of athletes. So that was again a thing. So, but how are you trying to, because a lot of times, I mean, we have been creating podcasts for a while now, and we are trying to figure out like, okay, create content once, but use it in multiple formats at different locations. So what was your strategy of like having one article on your website and then using that article to market it everywhere so that people come to you for consuming that content?
Yeah, so I think I've really thought about this a lot in my last 12 years. And earlier, I used to focus on only our website. But I think, the broader way of or better way of thinking it, and the current thought I have right now and used it for several years, is that you are a content producer,
Yeah.
right? And you are a brand. Sportskeeda is a content brand which produces a specific type of content, and we are a media company. We want to make money out of that content, right? You should really focus where that content really works and it makes money and audiences for you, right? It doesn't really matter if it's only on your site.
Fair enough.
So I really wasted a lot of years getting a video player and only publishing videos on Sportskeeda. I will not do it on YouTube because it's not ours. Doesn't make any sense. Wherever you are getting traction, if you're getting traction on Snapchat, on Reels, or on Instagram, wherever you are getting traction and you're getting audience for your content, go ahead and publish it. And I don't think even the monetization should come second. So I'll like tangentially just tell you one concept that I have for a content business, and you are also into that now. If you want to really monetize it or actually get traction, right? There are three steps to a content business. First is your content quality and the content. So you know that I have a niche, I have great content, and I have a lot of content which is unique and no one else has it. That is your step one. Second is traction,
Yeah.
right? Don't come to and third is monetization. And everyone has to go in these three steps. You can't think of monetization before the content, or traction before the content, or monetization before traction, right? So a lot of times, as in Instagram never had monetization, now they have.
Yes.
But we sort of, it's a huge platform. Let us publish it for free. Let us create millions of users. Maybe one day we are able to monetize it, right? So as a content producer, you should always think in these three steps. Like, is my content great? Second, where am I getting traction? Right? And third is that, okay, now I'm getting traction. How can I monetize it? We should not confuse any of the three and
Yeah,
ask
and it
any other
should be in the
any
right order, in this order.
exactly,
Because, yeah, you
exactly.
can't monetize when you don't have people to consume your content,
And
of course. Yeah.
sometimes you will not monetize it.
Hmm.
That's how internet is. Isn't Twitter is very difficult to monetize, I think. Right? So, but it's still building your audience.
It is still
Because
building an audience. Yeah.
of your Twitter, you might get your YouTube video viral one day. Never know.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing now I wanted to focus on is COVID. So during COVID, a lot of sports events were cancelled. So how were you coping during that situation? Because you were still the CEO running the company that
Actually,
time.
yeah, that really helped. Frankly, it helped. So I think 2009, 17 to 20, we were kind of not really growing at a huge pace, because we had taken up a lot of projects which we were trying. We were not, which were not the core competency of the company, but we were trying to build new features, new products, and uh, we were kind of, not really focusing on the core competency. COVID came, and then there was the news that, for the next 6 months or maybe a year, you will not have any sporting action. It's very
I know.
disheartening.
Even Olympics got postponed.
Yes, it was very disheartening for a sports content company, right? And we said, okay, tough times, we need to have tough measures, and we actually kind of shut down everything which was not a core competency for us, which we knew is anyways might not work, and we can experiment. If we really want to do this experiment, we can do it after 2 years. So that period kind of helped us focus on our core competency. And even the playbook that we had, we were able to, like, because we had a lot of time at our homes, right? So we were able to create that playbook, is in what works, what doesn't work at Sportskeeda. And some and these incidents on a company actually help. So this happened in 2013. I kind of mentioned that, when things were tough and I had to cut down the company a bit, as in I had to lay off also in 2013. Um, but this also helped because, we were able to focus on the core competency. So Sportskeeda's revenue kind of became, like, for few months, it became 30% of what it was on a
Wow.
average monthly basis. And then in the next 6 months, it was twice of what our average was,
So
right?
what changed?
Because
What changed? I mean, of course, you said that it was good for the company. You were focusing more, but sporting events were still not happening. So what changed? Were you trying to market your existing content more, because you're not able to get new content? So
I think it's a few. One was that because we were focusing only on core competency, we were actually able to produce and automate a lot of stuff again, produce better content at a faster rate. Second, even the consumption, because everyone was at home, right? Consumption also was in
increased.
internet's consumption
Yeah.
increased, right? Everyone knows that. So many media companies actually saw a jump, but our jump was even higher because we were producing even far better content at a higher speed. Because we said, okay, let us, just dismantle everything which is not really core Sportskeeda, and just focus on our playbook that we have. And
Okay.
I think our writers also became more efficient because there was no office. We became a remote company in like a click, right? And uh, all all we had to do is, we obviously always trusted them, but now the relationship was more that Sportskeeda needs this, and this is your salary. And a lot of what do you say, the talks in between and everything kind of went off because we were remote. So in that way, though it's cruel, but I think it really helped clear out the employer relationship in that way. I feel.
So now are you moving back to like you're
No,
asking?
so because COVID and after the COVID, we actually started supposed our revenue increase 100% year on year for the last 3 years actually. So the remote culture just suits us like anything. So we actually are a remote company now. So we have like 4 people, CXO level people. They do meet in the office, but it's not compulsory to for anyone, and no one comes to the office unless it's a annual meeting or something. We want someone like the team wants to come to Bangalore and meet them. Now we don't even ask, where that person is.
Right. Yeah, that is the future actually. I've heard this from many other leaders in their industry that yeah, it just suits so much better.
I
And this
think,
is also
I think I just wanted to mention WordPress is owned by Automatic, and Automatic itself is remote first. It is completely a remote only organization. So yeah, it is quite fascinating. GitLab
Yeah,
is completely remote.
yeah. Actually, our tech team always wanted, like our CTO always was asking me earlier, also before COVID, that let's try remote. And I said I cannot do that because of the other teams, content, marketing, sales, SEO. I can't just make everyone remote. Maybe tech might work remote, but now that's the huge revelation. Everything can work remote.
Wow, that is a good sort of insight to hear from you in terms of this work culture. And now, obviously, the relationship is more of an output based rather than time based. We don't care where you are and how much time, but we just need this output as long as that is there. And that's a lot more sort of honest sort of interaction rather than before it was. And this is what a lot of offices are also, a lot of companies are saying as well, that it's a
Yeah,
lot more
I
genuine.
actually I learned it the hard way. As in, when we had an office, we had an HR. We hired people, and I was young, right? And when we got funding, I was like 25, like the first funding in 2011. I used to really, really work hard on each and every hire. Like really take a lot of interviews, hire the best person, meet him in person a lot. Tell him about Sportskeeda. I used to get emotional with that person, and it was not good. It was not healthy because then I'll maybe sometimes I'll micromanage. So if he's leaving for a better opportunity, I'll get emotional again, right? And then the hard way I learned it isn't doesn't matter. Yeah, so I am doing all this for a profit, right? I am obviously we are
Yes.
looking to promote sports in India, and there's things that are altruistic, but in the end, it is still a business.
Hmm.
Sportskeeda is a for-profit company, and that person is also working for profit, and
Absolutely.
he will do the if he's getting more profit somewhere else, then he'll go,
Yes.
right. He doesn't have any emotional connection with the company, and he should not, like he should, for the work he should. One should really love your skills and your work,
Hmm.
uh, but in the end it's a commercial agreement, right?
Yes.
So I think it took me a few years for learning that. And I think after 4 5 years, fewer employees were emotionally connected, and they used to say, "Okay, Porush, I think I've got a better opportunity." I said, "Okay," and they were like shocked. Okay, Porush, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, I think you become detached over a period of time. When you're young, you're emotional, but as you gain experience, you see that okay, this is part of life. People will come, people
Correct.
will go. The company should work. So, Parish, one question from me is regarding live streaming. Did Sportskeeda ever think about live streaming any sports event, and did you actually do it?
So we did one few in Facebook, but they were like small experiments. Live streaming was an ambitious project that I was exploring, but it's a different business altogether. Uh, it's an expensive business,
It is an expensive
right? So
business. Yeah.
something really which matters, which gets a lot of eyeballs in India. Uh, it is very costly. You have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
fight for the rights on BCCI, and
Fair enough. But
you
that's just
the
cricket. I mean, you can do live streaming of say badminton or say
we
wrestling
can
event.
but then monetizing them is altogether a very different ball game.
Fair
And
enough.
then the setup cost is still the same. right? Now streaming is really solved, I think,
Yeah.
because there are many OTT players. But I think in 16, 17, 18, when I was trying, still it was pretty expensive, and to get the whole business making sense, it didn't work out for me. And then we're always different business priorities.
Okay. And then from a news platform, I mean, was the focus ever on selling merchandise, Sportskeeda branded merchandise and other stuff as well? Because that's how you create a brand. And Sportskeeda, the word itself means you are crazy about sports. So if your fans are crazy about
Yeah.
sports, did you ever think about like monetizing that part as well?
Frankly, I don't think we became a brand at that scale that people will buy that much merchandise. Maybe for our Olympic coverage or few niches that we have created, and people really love us for that. But I don't think even a Cricket or a Crickbuzz sells
Fair
their
enough.
own
Yeah, yeah.
merchandise.
Okay.
All right. We did try selling football t-shirts, cricket t-shirts, as in designed t-shirts in 2014. Uh, but then I understood, even at a 20 lakh per month sale, the profit were very minimal at that time. The Indian customers are very demanding COD and everything. There was a very funny incident was during the 2014 World Cup, right? So we had few T-shirts designed on England football team, uh, and we had a huge orders that time. As in our business grew like 3-4 times in that month because of the FIFA World Cup. So the person who was printing and delivering the t-shirt for us, we was not able to handle so much. So we had a lot of orders for English football team, those designer t-shirts. By the time he was delivering it, English team was out, and we got we got everything returned to us, and we had
Oh,
like 200 t-shirts at our office. So yeah,
yeah.
I said what I understood is that it's a very different
Hmm.
business altogether, and if I have to do that, then I'm running an e-commerce company and a media
E-commerce.
company together, and I think let us stick to
For
one and do one really better than trying to sail in two
Mm.
boats.
That's definitely a good strategy, I think. Wow, this was a really good, insightful conversation, Porush. Thank you very much for giving
That,
the insight and giving us, your views on so many different things. I'm sure our audience really did enjoy it, and it definitely is a conversation to sort of keep coming back to as I'm sure within our audience there are potential aspiring entrepreneurs who wants to sort of set up their own business, and your journey would really inspire a lot of people, I think, and we hope
yeah, I'll
yeah.
I'll say if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Great. Yes. No, that is a really modest way to look at it, but no, absolutely. That's the message we want to give out. Is there anything else you want to add or talk about before we finish the call about Sportskeeda and your journey?
No, not really. I think I've covered a lot.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks so much for joining Parish today. It was really
thanks, Amit.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Amit. Thanks, Rinat. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone. Yeah.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye, Parish.